Welcome to BamBam-O-Rama.
Welcome to BamBam-O-Rama. We got the schmeats.
We got the schmeats.
Hi guys, and welcome to another BamBamORama podcast. As always, I'm Adrian Estrada. You got Jackson Grist over here.
That's right.
And we're coming to you from Austin,
Texas.
We're getting ready this weekend to record another WWE sketch. And of course, channeling our creativity as much as possible to try to give you guys something worthwhile to watch.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us, of course. And please make sure that you share this with somebody that might be interested that you don't talk to very often. So
that way, if they hate it, they're not going to be mad at you.
Yeah. And they may forget who told them about it, and they just won't take it out on you. And in fact, they might come back later and be like, hey, I got to show you this podcast to try to cheese on us. And it'll be fine, because then you guys will develop this thing.
Yeah, it'll be
tough. Have brought you closer to somebody that you've been missing.
Yep. So when I was on my way to Midland, originally, I'm sorry, I'm gonna break the fourth wall here. I thought we were going to record like this, but then this morning we tried something different that didn't work out.
Yep.
Now we're doing this last minute, and I had a bit prepared for this that I didn't flush out because we didn't go here immediately.
So in a way, you've gotten your pants. You've been caught with your pants caught.
My pants down, yeah, because I didn't have time to prepare the bit for this setup that I wanted to. You know what I mean? So basically, what I was going to do is I was going to hand you note cards, and I was going to be like, "You're interviewing me," because we're in like.
Well, Jack, it's a good thing that you've told me this, because if you don't really know, a lot of times you do like a big, you'll do an idea, and then I flesh it out, right?
Right.
Not saying anything wrong about it. Like, it's just a good way we work together. So you're in luck if you'll welcome in our next guest. Oh shit! You guys, welcome Danny, the stand-up Devito.
There he is.
This is obviously a video exclusive, since you can't see. Obviously, you can't hear him. We just got my life-size Danny Devito in between us now.
Yeah, we can still post the audio. It's just going to be awkward, bro. There's a Danny DeVito between us.
Hey guys, I never noticed this. It's got like a print-on date. You see that? Like, they made it.
It is crazy.
May 18th, 2020, when my brother and sister-in-law got this one.
Yeah.
I know. I just, thought it'd be fun to bring him out. So, I got to tell you, I'm really excited, of course, about everything. I don't want to even pretend like we are going to get back into what we had conversation before.
No.
What I want to say is, how do you think we can figure out a way to get an actual guest like this?
An actual guest, like a Danny DeVito guest, or just like any guest? Yeah, because I guarantee you we got people we can get on here right now. Just they don't have much status other than they're friends with us.
I mean, that's fine too, but that's always been where they call in and all that shit, Discord, etc.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, let's push that a little bit. We need a friend to get here.
A friend to get here?
And one of the reasons I'm saying that is because Kyle W., he was harassing us about playing games today, which, if you didn't know, he was trying to talk shit, saying I never invite him to play games, to which my rebuttal was a screenshot of our most recent conversation, which was me inviting him to play games, and he dismissed it.
Nice.
So fuck you, Kyle. But the point is that later in this conversation, which you obviously know, I invited him to come record with us instead, and he just really didn't respond, did he?
No.
So, because, we have a steady, handful of listeners.
Yeah.
I wonder if any of them are like a random Austinite that we just don't know.
Oh, that'd be great. I wonder if we could get.
I'll bring you on. Obviously, you don't have a large crowd to talk to, but
right,
it'd be fun.
I think it'd be great to bring anyone on. I mean, we got a handful of friends who even have some pull that, have bands. Maybe we could get them on here, do a band interview. We've tossed around a bunch of different ideas of band interview stuff to do. I don't remember if we've talked about any of it on here. I mean, we've talked about it just between us. I mean,
do you want to? Who are you talking about?
Oh, who would I invite? I mean, there's obviously Cisco or Louie. Would be easy to ask. When I say Cisco, we'll ask her or get on here. We're not going to ask him to be on the podcast. We're just going to ask him to come hang out and then we're gonna set up the cameras and start going.
I really like that because I would put money on it that Cisco has no idea we even do this.
It probably doesn't. You're probably right.
So I would
I'm
love
gonna send him this episode specifically.
to see if he'll listen to it.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Especially because now I'm keeping this in here, so if he's listening to this right now, he's like, you
fucking
you
assholes.
sons of bitches. Like, you guys are assholes.
Right?
But then at the same time, he would have to admit that he never hangs out when we ask him to. So that's true. Who's the asshole?
Who is the asshole?
Please send him the video version so that he sees me look at the camera.
I will.
You have anything you want to ask Danny?
Hey, Danny.
Yeah.
What was it like? We know you've been on Always Sunny for years, but specifically the one joke that I always am the most curious about is when you were covered in like that. Was it lube or was it goo? What was it?
Yeah, I don't really know what you're talking about right now.
You know the episode where no lube, like
yeah, lube.
Yeah,
I remember in one episode we had lube.
yeah. What was it like to be? You were covered in it, right?
Yeah.
What was it like to be covered in lube?
It was sexual.
Oh.
This is how I imagine he is. I don't really. I'm kind of channeling more of a Jiminy Glick, but I'm still rolling.
I hope we get a cease and desist for this.
Please, Danny DeVito, send me a cease and desist for using your life size and trying to do a really bad. I'm not an imitation. I'm not that guy. You know?
Right? Yeah.
I'm not much of anything on the other side of it, but I'm definitely not though.
You used to have a decent impression of Charlie Day, though.
Yeah, but everybody can do a Charlie Day.
I don't think I have any good impressions.
But even that was a bad Charlie Day, I think. Maybe if I was watching some Always Sunny regularly.
It's been a minute since we've.
I have not watched Always
Had to
Sunny in a
watch.
long time.
I think the most Always Sunny stuff I see anymore is like video clips on TikTok of their podcast. The last one I thought was hilarious too, but I guess I shouldn't.
I wonder how big Danny DeVito's dick is.
How big Danny DeVito's dick
Yeah,
is?
you see him in. Yeah, can we tell? I think that's dick.
You think that's dick right there?
I think he's got some schlong going.
Might be.
I think he's got long schlong. Look at his hands. This is supposedly life size. You think that's accurate? I know he's short. Like, how short
I
is
know
he?
he's short. I can't.
Google how short he is.
You can't read that.
Oh, there's my
short. You
light.
want me to Google it.
Yeah, Google it. I'm 5'8". There's no way that he's that short, right?
Let's see. 4'10".
Yeah. Sure as shit.
That might be.
But you see that? Yeah, I guess that would be about right, huh?
Yeah. 4'10". That's crazy. I did not think.
Oh.
I didn't think Danny DeVito was shorter than 5'3". Honestly.
4'10", huh?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, man.
That's crazy. So Danny DeVito,
Yeah, what do you want?
what's it like being under 5 feet?
I get a lot of hoes. Pussies in my nostrils. Makes me real horny.
Okay. I'm uncomfortable with this. I don't know why.
You're uncomfortable. Check out this boner.
Danny, you gotta stop, man. You're gonna get in trouble.
You can't tell me you don't want some of this.
No, I don't.
DeVito. I heard the way you said that joke in that bit. You wanted this. You're wanting this since day one.
Oh man. What's your favorite Danny DeVito movie?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is fun because he's not a primary role.
He was in that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember him being in there.
But it's got to be Batman Returns. I mean, he's the Penguin.
He's the what?
The Penguin.
The Penguin. I thought you said the Thing. I was like, he's not the Thing.
No, the Penguin.
Well, that's not even the right movie.
I said he's the Penguin.
Yeah, he was a good Penguin.
But yeah, he's a pretty good crazy guy in One Flew Over. Yeah.
Was he? He was one of
The asylum inmates.
Yeah, I was gonna say inmates. Is that the right term?
Patient? I believe so, for what they were.
For what that
A ward. That's what they would have called a ward of the state.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was a different time.
Yeah, they could literally lock you up for being crazy.
And that's also their definition of crazy, too, right? Like, you didn't actually have to be crazy.
Well, there was definitely people that weren't crazy.
That were locked up.
Mixed with people that were definitely in trouble. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, you could literally be a ward of the state.
That wasn't an intended pun. It's just wild to me that we ever lived like that.
I mean, when did being a ward of the state stop? I know I phrased that fucking wrong, but
Okay.
67 is roughly the area. I mean, this is just when they stopped calling mental hospitals asylums and such.
Yeah.
But I know that's kind of like the change. It's not that long ago, is all I got to say about it.
Oh, a lot of the things that are not that long ago still like blow my mind. Because I feel like we've came so far.
But when you think that people with very common and treatable and livable and quite frankly sane conditions like bipolar, ADHD is in that, any almost every form of
autism or BPD as well.
Bipolar disorder?
But BPD is close to bipolar. What does BPD stand for?
Borderline personality disorder. That's not bad. Okay, I should have known that one. Borderline. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, all of that stuff.
All that stuff. They
just get locked up like you're literally a criminal.
Yeah, even though that is treatable, like you're right. At the time, we didn't have medicine for it, but there was therapists, and a big part of treating those is talk therapy for a lot of people. Wild, man.
Like I said, it's a different time.
I'm surprised you didn't say twins.
Well, that's a fun movie, but you know, Danny DeVito to me is like he's more than just a cult classic. I grew up with Taxi.
Yeah, we're just talking about Taxi a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like literally something I grew up with. Judd Hirsch, you know, him, Andy Kaufman, of course. But yeah, he was, you know, one of the main characters, a very main character.
He was the boss.
Yeah, Louis. And yeah, so that's Danny DeVito. The man. He's cool.
Oh yeah, dude, I love Taxi. Is Taxi on a streaming service?
I want to say it's on Hulu.
We should watch some Taxi.
Wait, hold on. Peacock? I was watching it not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah, I love Taxi. It's got Tony Danza in it. That's kind of funny. When I went
Tony Danza played a version of Tony Danza in Taxi, right? Am I right?
He plays a character named Tony that's a boxer.
Tony Danza playing himself. But I never thought about whether or not he was an actual boxer.
No, he played Tony Danza, and I should have known that too.
Oh yeah, that's right, Tony Danza. Who else was on there?
Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd. Thank you. That's exactly who I was thinking of. I know. Yeah, he joined the cast later, and he had an empty loft apartment with like a big spool in the middle of it, and that was like his table that he used for everything. Those big wooden spools. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. And I always thought that was the coolest thing. And I was like, when I grow up, I want one of those big wooden spools.
Yeah, I've always wanted one of those.
And I want to live in a big apartment like that.
Yeah. I wonder if that's where I got that from, because I'd always wanted it. That's funny. Yeah, he was a preacher that was a recovering alcoholic.
He also sold cocaine at one point in the show.
Yeah,
Remember that when he was making those cookies and he was like, yeah! Everyone was going crazy for him.
The show is so good.
That show was really good.
When was cocaine illegal back then? Because
I don't know when cocaine became illegal in America. I feel like it happened back during Prohibition. When was Prohibition? Like the 1910s?
20s. 20s. So that's when they put restrictions on the manufacturing of it, is in the 20s.
Okay.
Which was right after they called for it to be regulated, essentially. Okay. Before I think it was being willy-nilly, and then in like the 1914, I think I saw, it's saying that that's when they had to be medically processed, and then the 20s they started cinching down, and then
the official illegalization. You think it was the 60s?
70s.
70s? That seems late.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is stuff like that is really recent. Shit. You know, drinking and driving was legal until like the 80s, right? or some shit, right?
Wait, for real?
Hold on.
This is blowing my mind.
Despite a tightening of laws in recent years, 15 states, including Texas, had no laws as of January 1987 against consuming alcoholic beverages at the wheel.
What the?
Although, and this is from NewYorkTimes.com, just so as anybody listening here is interested. It is the first Google search, but it's New York Times first off. Secondly, that's a thing. Like, you just don't remember, or you didn't have parents or family members in my case, that were doing that.
Right. Well, I mean, I was only 2 years old when that was made illegal in Texas.
Well, I'm not saying that I watched it. I'm saying that I remember hearing about it,
Yeah.
And then I remember stories like...
Yeah. Well, I remember, like, going out to the ranch with my family. Like, you go out to the hunting area, and then, like, it's
drinking in the ranch truck.
Yeah, as soon as you got onto private property, a beer got cracked. But it was like, you're off.
Well, that's because they were used to drinking, so that was their threshold.
Okay.
That's like, as soon as you get to the ranch land, that's...
Yeah.
So then, yeah, of course you were drinking, and then even now, I don't think you're allowed to do that.
I don't think you're allowed to drink in a motor vehicle at all anymore. But I know there's some states where you can still be a passenger and drink something, right?
Yeah, I think so, maybe.
I think there's some. And I think even in Texas, if you're like in a limo, like if you're...
Well, yeah, you can be in a passenger service vehicle as long as you're within...
Yeah, as long as there's some kind of border, but you can't be in a person, like, I can't hop in your car and crack a beer. That'd be illegal. But there are states where I could do that if I wanted to.
Right.
Which always seemed weird to me. Like,
I don't see anything suggesting. Maybe it was at some point.
Maybe it
that
was
a thing till time.
But it's gone by now. I always thought about that when someone told me that was a thing. I always thought, like, oh yeah, well, if you're just driving through Louisiana, then...
Yeah, crack it
open. You and your buddy can take turns. Or the second you get pulled over, that's yours. You know what I mean? Like... I'm not talking about how to get away with it. I'm just saying that's probably what happened.
It's just a mentality that was instilled in you. I mean, maybe that was, and that's how it was for that while,
Yeah.
Or maybe they just didn't enforce certain laws, in certain areas. And that's where, yeah. It sounds like a very West Texas thing to be taught.
It really is.
But yeah, so that's like real things, I know we just got cut off into that tangent, but
no, it's fine.
It's just fun to think about that. Things were much different, much more recently than you think.
It's blowing my mind. It really is. Like, I didn't realize that I was alive, even though it was only 2 years, that I was alive at any point in time when we could drink and drive.
Yeah, I mean, it's like alcohol used to not be 21 and up, et cetera, et cetera.
I know that, yeah. That happened, I know, a lot more recently than we want to give it credit for. Because it was never done federally. It was done by the states as they wanted to, but there were also federal incentives to encourage states to make that law.
Between 1970 and 1975, it was some states, 18, 19, and 20, vary of the minimum age. Lowest age ever was 18. But it's still wild to think about that,
Oh yeah. What's the law in Mexico now? Because I remember when we were teenagers, you could go drink in Mexico.
Yeah, but I think that was one of those things that you just got taught. You know what I mean?
Like, got away with.
And also, I don't think I think it was just one of those things that just depends on the town.
I had a beer in El Paso, not El Paso. Sorry, Juarez. Yeah. With my dad.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, I just think it's.
That was also with my dad, so that might have been like, oh, you're with your parent type thing, and I assumed it was.
Yeah, I was always taught that the kids were allowed to as long as they could reach the bar.
That's what I was always told too. Yes. Like, yeah.
So I don't know.
Like, that was the Mexican law was, as long as your eyeballs can see over the bar, you can get some alcohol. I don't think that's true. That can't be.
It says 18.
But then you're probably right. Like, there were probably cities that were pretty lenient, because I know there was kind of, like, it was all over the news when I was in high school. Kids going across the border to get drunk and then driving back.
And I think that's just part of it, though. Is like, I just think that they didn't card them. They just said, "Are you 18?" And they said, "Yeah."
Yeah, I think so.
I think
probably.
That's part of it.
It wasn't a law. It was just people getting away. High school kids getting away with shit.
Yeah, they threw enough money at somebody that was like, "Fuck it."
Yeah.
Because I definitely know people said that they did it. I mean, of course, you got to take them at their word, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, it's fun to think about stuff like that. Fun to think about how things change in an instant, because that's really an instant. That's less than our lifetime.
Oh yeah, and it's gonna be amazing. Well, I mean, things like, my son's 5, and for his entire life, gay marriage at this point in time. Gay marriage is legal. Hopefully that doesn't change since
we just lost Roe v.
We
Wade.
lost Roe v. Wade, which also blows my mind.
I know.
But
it's
so
weird that
I
we
mean,
went backwards.
potentially for my son's entire life, gay marriage will be legal, and like one point when he's in high school, I'll be like, when I was alive, that it wasn't always that way, and he'll be like, what? Like he'll have the same reactions I just had.
There's always going to be people fighting, people arguing, people nitpicking about each other's things and differences. And it's always going to be that each side is always saying, but our side's the tolerant one. Our side is the lenient one. And I just don't know. I think the real solution is, like, if we were to just get that one politician that just says that. They don't say the salute. They don't say, here's my fix to it. They just say, look, I just need you guys to start becoming aware that you're literally nitpicking each other. You're carrying each other to death. And it depends on who starts the conversation, on whose side you're going to take, just for a lot of degrees. Just stop. Stop carrying.
You're right. No, you're not wrong.
Stop taking your own side and just running with it. Stop being high school mentality of my team. Well, just because my team said, well, did you like everybody on your team in high school? Then stop having that mentality.
Yeah.
It's kind of simple, but we just need some sort of leader out there that has enough pull to actually say those things.
Oh yeah.
Instead, they run with it because that's how they stay up there. That's how they keep getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
The soap opera that is America. And with that, we say good night, folks. I've got to edit this within a few minutes to get this to you at 9 p.m.
Right.
So thank you guys for joining us once again as we ramble on into our ADHD or whatever you want to call it, fueled spectacle of a show. But we enjoy it, and we're happy that you do too.
Yes.
So please remember to like, subscribe, tune into our different outlets of channel, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, etc. All of it can be found at BamBamORama.com. And who are we plugging today?
Jeremy Calley.
Always Jeremy Calley. That's fine. We love you, Jeremy Calley. If you need a guitar, please make sure you find Jeremy Calley's links on our info section, description section of this video and or podcast if you're listening on audio only.
Yep. Make sure you watch our YouTube stream and Twitch stream, excuse me. If you're into video games, we're playing Grounded right now. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Unfortunately, there's no Rick Moranis. I try to take up the mantle, but I'm not good enough.
You're also too tall.
Yeah, that's
It's
true.
like 5'4".
I also don't wear glasses.
We can fix that.
No. I mean, it's
Like and subscribe now to save Jackson's eyes.
I love y'all.
Love you guys.